Welcome to Eurofins Viracor Clinical Diagnostics Podcast, where I'll be sharing up-to-date scientific advances, key diagnostic testing, and our most recent innovations. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's discussion about AI and machine learning in clinical diagnostics. Our first introduction is Rohit Sinha, Eurofins Viracor Director of Bioinformatics. Welcome, Rohit. I'm delighted to have you today. Could you help clarify for the audience what artificial intelligence and machine learning are and how they differ?
Sure, it's my pleasure, Tom. And we all know that AI and ML is touching almost all domains of life, right? And there can be multiple ways to define it, right?
Yeah, like ChatGPT or self-driving cars, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, for the ChatGPT user, AI ML can be defined as a system predicting the next word in a sentence. And for the structural biologist, for example, it's something which can predict the structure of a protein using its sequence. And for us in clinical diagnostics, AI ML can be defined as something which can predict complex diseases using clinical parameters of a patient. So we can say that there are multiple ways to define it, but the fundamental point common to all of these is that we provide a massive amount of data to an algorithm, which trains machines, which are computers here, to learn the hidden patterns in the data and eventually creates an intelligent system. And that's why the word artificial intelligence is coming here to perform tasks such as those we just discussed. That is how I can try to define AI and ML for your audience.
So, Rohit, you mentioned clinical parameters. What does that refer to?
Yeah, a clinical parameter can be as simple as the body temperature of a patient, or it can be as complex as the expression profile of thousands of genes which we host in our cells. So, with the help of ML techniques, we can make sense of this high dimensional data, which are sometimes like thousands and thousands of rows and columns table, and to diagnose complex diseases. And one of the example, of probably a great example of these high dimensional data is the medical images, where they have millions of pixels, and machine learning techniques are shining to make predictions using those medical images. And they are also shining in disease detection and personalized treatment recommendation.
Very good. Thanks, Rohit. I appreciate you helping us understand this complex topic. As the Director of Bioinformatics at Eurofins Viracor, how are you approaching AI and machine learning advancements within clinical diagnostics?
Yeah, that's an excellent question too, Tom. So as a group, we are totally convinced that the clinical decision making is going to predominate the diagnostic market in coming decades. And at Eurofins Viracor are at the forefront to leverage this opportunity. We are applying ML techniques to solve complex biological problems, and we definitely have the talent pool to execute our short and long-term plans in this direction.
Thanks so much, Rohit. I would like to begin by introducing some of the members of that talent pool that you just mentioned. First up is Tyler Moss, Eurofins Viracor Senior Data Analyst. Welcome, Tyler.
Thanks, Tom. It's a privilege to be here. As you mentioned, I'm a Senior Data Analyst here at Eurofins Viracor. And in my role, I develop bioinformatic and data analysis pipelines for our laboratory assays. These are used to produce accurate and interpretable results. This work requires adherence to regulatory requirements, and we strive to use the industry best standards and quality standards to ensure our computational workflows are not only scientifically sound, but comply with healthcare and laboratory regulations. And machine learning and AI have, as Rohit said, just have a growing impact on our bioinformatics. I believe these technologies have and will continue to rapidly transform how we analyze biological data.
So how has AI and machine learning impacted your line of work?
Yeah, I think they've had a great impact on our ability to analyze the massive and complex data sets that we have. One example is biomarker discovery. Biological data can be very noisy due to many reasons. One reason is a lot of heterogeneity within and between the sample populations that we have. Together, these can make robust biomarker identification very challenging.
So for those of us who don't know, can you explain what heterogeneity means?
Oh, yeah, sure. Heterogeneity refers to the diversity within a sample or data set. So it's the diversity or dissimilarity. And we've seen in recent years how machine learning algorithms have been successful in identifying the subtle patterns and associations in omics data sets, greatly accelerating the identification of novel diagnostic and prognostic indicators, despite these challenges with heterogeneity or other noise in the data.
So wait, there's another word worth explaining in there. So what is omics?
Yeah, so omics, it refers to the totality of a particular biomolecule within a biological system. For example, there's genomics, it's all the DNA within an organism. Transcriptomics is all the transcribed RNA, like your genes from your genome. Proteomics, metabolomics, and so on. And these are, since it's referring to the totality of that within an organism, that's a large a lot of data, and machine learning has been used to improve, for example, our bioinformatics workflows in calling genetic variants within our genome. So we can call those genetic variants, and machine learning has also been used to help classify those variants.
This seems like a critical point to understand. Why is it important to classify genetic variants?
Right. So all the genetic variants in your genome aren't the same. So classifying them helps us understand the impact that a variant may have in health or disease. Can help healthcare providers distinguish between healthy patients or patients who may be susceptible to a certain disease. So we've seen several recent approaches to classify pathogenic versus benign variants using machine learning algorithms, as well as if you have a tumor sample, it can help to classify somatic versus a germline variant.
As you integrate these algorithms, how are you ensuring they are responsibly improving clinical diagnostics?
Yeah, that's a great point. So as we integrate these machine learning tools into our bioinformatic workflows, we must also be mindful of any limitations that they may have. So there are some challenges, such as data bias in any reference data that we have to train a machine learning model. With any test, we ought to make sure that they're reproducible. We need to be clear about the models, make sure that there's often difficulties in model interpretability with these algorithms. So these are significant concerns that need to be addressed responsibly. We should keep on top of the still evolving landscape for artificial intelligence and machine learning in healthcare, which will require careful navigation so that we can ensure compliance and patient safety. As we use artificial intelligence and machine learning and bioinformatics, it's going to be essential to strike a balance between innovation and responsibility. Leveraging these technologies will enhance our capabilities while maintaining rigorous standards for validation, transparency, and ethical use.
Yes, the statement of balance between innovation and responsibility is well said. Thanks so much, Tyler. Next, I have the pleasure of welcoming Jalal Siddiqui, Eurofins Virocore Senior Bioinformatics Scientist. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Tom. I'm honored to be here today. I'm Jalal Siddiqui, Senior Bioinformatics Scientist at Eurofins Virocore. We all here have a passion for advancing healthcare through technology. I personally work a great deal with next-generation sequencing or NGS data analysis, where we have rapidly evolving computational methods that are increasingly using more machine learning and artificial intelligence or AI.
So, Jalal, how has AI and ML advancement impacted your work?
Yes, so methods used for the analysis of NGS data are increasingly incorporating machine learning and AI. As an example, deep variant is a variant calling pipeline that uses deep learning models to call genetic variants, and it's also been reported to outperform several previous tools.
Please describe how deep variant is outperforming other methods.
Yes, definitely. So deep variant has been shown to be more accurate than previous variant callers and offers a greater precision and recall. Traditional variant callers rely on statistical models which are based on assumptions of how the data behaves, and these assumptions may not always hold out on different platforms.
What's the difference about deep variance approach?
The deep variant takes a fundamentally different approach. It uses deep learning, specifically convolutional neural networks, to interpret sequencing data. So instead of relying on fixed rules, it learns directly from high-quality reference data sets. It basically converts the sequencing reads into an image-like representation and classifies the genotypes the way a neural networks might recognize objects in a photo.
Can you describe how improvements in machine learning and deep learning are affecting areas outside of NGS?
So beyond NGS, improvements in deep learning and ML are impacting clinical diagnostics more broadly. So these technologies are enabling the integration of vast, complex data sets to uncover patterns that are not perceptible, that are often imperceptible to traditional analytical methods. For instance, AI models can now predict disease risks, identify patients suited for personalized therapies, and even assist in real-time diagnostic decision-making. And so as these tools continue to evolve, they hold the potential of making diagnostics faster, more accurate, and more accessible, ultimately improving patient outcomes and transforming the future of healthcare.
Can you provide a specific example of how improvements in machine learning and AI can be used to improve patient outcomes?
Yes, definitely. And so one powerful example of how AI is transforming clinical diagnostics is TrueGraph Kidney. This is the first blood test designed to help clinicians detect early signs of kidney transplant rejection even before you have symptoms appear. And so identifying what's referred to as subclinical acute rejection, or also silent rejection, it usually required invasive biopsies. But with TrueGraph, that changes. It looks at gene expression patterns in the blood of kidney transplant recipients who appear to be clinically stable. By measuring these differentially expressed genes, it determines whether a patient is adequately immunosuppressed. And so underneath it, what makes this possible is machine learning. TrueGraph is using trained classification models to interpret complex gene expression data and distinguish between patients who are at risk of rejection and those who are not. And so this will allow clinicians to rule out subclinical rejection early and without any invasive procedures. And so this will improve patient outcomes and reduce the need for an unnecessary kidney biopsy.
So this test would tell the physician that a problem could be starting before there are any symptoms.
Yes, and this is a great example of how AI is not just accelerating diagnostics, but making them safer, smarter, and more personalized.
How do you keep up with the rapid changes in AI and machine learning advancements then?
For myself, I focus on expanding my knowledge of deep learning and AI through scientific literature and Coursera modules. So integrating AI and ML into my work requires a significant amount of research and continuous learning. And staying up to date with the latest advancements requires reading journal articles, attending webinars, and cross-referencing new options with existing compliance guidelines. And our Center of Excellence does hold occasional journal club meetings where we discuss the latest advancements in the field of machine learning and AI. So while personally I have not implemented AI extensively, I am preparing to do so by building a strong foundation in these technologies.
In what ways are you collaborating openly with your clients about using AI and machine learning in new solutions?
So introducing AI and ML to clients often involves explaining the benefits and addressing any skepticism. So it's essential to reassure them about the accuracy and reliability of these technologies. And by demonstrating how AI can enhance diagnostics and improve patient outcomes, we aim to build trust and confidence in these innovative approaches. And as we continue to apply the power of AI and machine learning, we're on the brink of a new era in clinical diagnostics that may transform healthcare for the better. And we all are excited to be part of this journey and look forward to contributing to the advancements that will shape the future of not only clinical diagnostics, but healthcare in general.
That's great. Yeah, addressing skepticism and ensuring there is confidence in innovative approaches is definitely critical in building trust. Thanks so much, Jalal. My next introduction is Ahmad Al-Turk, Eurofins Transplant Genomics Manager of Laboratory Operations. Welcome, Ahmad.
Thank you, Tom. I'm excited to share my journey inside and the future of AI and lab operation within the medical field with you all today. As you mentioned, I am the lab operation manager here at Eurofins Transplant Genomics here located in Lenexa, Kansas. I specialize in NGS, infectious disease, and gene expression testing. In particular, we're focused on post-transplant monitoring conditions and kind of assess the patient's conditions.
How are you ensuring AI and machine learning developments in your role as lab manager are effectively and compliantly used?
That's a good question. My role really involves working closely with regulatory affairs to ensure compliance with GCLP, GCP, CLIA, CAP, and state licensing guidelines. I'm actively, at the moment, within our window for CAP and New York inspection, which really helped me maintain the highest standard in our lab operation. In addition to all my regulatory work, I'm really passionate about integrating machine learning and AI compliance into our processes and really using innovation to enhance clinical outcomes. My technical background really includes implementing, developing, and leading new assays. I make it a priority to stay aligned with our regulatory standards like FDA, CLIA, CAP, and New York State requirements. Even though my primary role is operation, I always ensure the quality department is always involved in every assay we develop and deploy. But beyond that, I focus on making sure our AI tools are not just effective, but also compliant. That means, validating modules regularly, ensuring data integrity, and maintaining transparency in how AI supports decision making. And not to mention, we really train our staff to collaborate across departments and keep human oversight at the core of every AI-driven process.
How do you achieve buy-in from your staff to go through all the hoops and compliance of human oversight for this AI-driven process?
That's an excellent question. It's all about building a really good foundation and good cultural bonding where innovation and compliance go hand in hand. So this is where technology truly supports better and safer outcome for our testing and our patients.
Very good. Yes. It's energizing to hear the passion behind the integration of AI, ML learning at Eurofins Transplant Genomics. Thanks so much, Ahmad. Our final guest today is Donna Steve. Donna is the Director of Regulatory Affairs and Quality Oversight at Eurofins Viracor Biopharma Services. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks, Tom. I'm happy to be here. As you stated, I'm the Director, and it's a mouthful, of Regulatory Affairs and Quality Oversight for Eurofins Viracor Biopharma Services. My company supports pharmaceutical clinical trials by testing clinical trial patient samples to meet regulatory expectations. Our data may be used to support primary, secondary endpoints and patient safety once the product is marketed.
So what approach are you using to ensure AI and machine learning in clinical trials is aligned with industry standards?
Well, as a quality professional, it is my responsibility to make sure that the quality management system for the company meets regulatory requirements. And one of those objectives of this role is to keep up to date with the current regulatory thinkings and apply what is applicable to our documents, processes, and data. And one of the current draft guidances is the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in support of the data for submissions to the regulatory authorities for review and approval. This new guidance for the industry outlines the FDA's current approach to reviewing data generated by AI or machine learning. They are not saying that we do not want to obtain this data, but instead they are providing us a pathway and outline to help us maintain the data and look at it from a risk assessment point of view.
So how do you take the new guidance releases and apply them to the work that is already ongoing?
Well, to support both of our clients and our quality management system, I work with each of the subject matter experts, such as the guests on this podcast, to create the process or processes to meet the guidance expectations and assure the implementation and training of these.
Thanks, Donna. After listening to the other guests today, how does this process support the biopharma submissions from your end?
The data generated by the AI and machine learning will help the industry immensely. It provides avenues for drug discovery, development, manufacturing, and delivery by accelerating the discovery process along with trial optimization, such as trial design. It also may be used to support preclinical studies and remove the use of animals trials by having predictive modeling of toxicity and efficacy data, for example. There are many more reasons to utilize AI and machine learning in biopharma, from data integrity to process optimization. This will help revolutionize the healthcare industry for future generations.
That's great. Thanks so much, Donna. This concludes our discussion for today. Thanks, everyone, for being here and sharing with me and our audience and how AI and machine learning can and is improving new therapies. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on social media to stay up to date on all the latest information. If you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends and colleagues to subscribe too. With over 40 years of diagnostic innovation and specialized expertise in infectious disease, pre- and post-transplant, allergy and immunology testing for immunocompromised and critical patients, Eurofins ViraCore is committed to helping medical professionals, transplant teams, and reference labs get results faster when it matters most. ViraCore is passionate about delivering value to our clients by providing timely, actionable information, never losing sight of the connection between the testing we perform and the patients you serve.